guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoilery gush video for the Girl of Fire and Thorns trilogy by Rae Carson, consisting of The Girl of Fire and Thorns, The Crown of Embers, and The Bitter Kingdom. As I said, this gush will have spoilers in it, but if you have not read the series yet, I will link my spoiler-free review down below for you to go check out. So first, let me start off, obviously, with The Girl of Fire and Thorns. I absolutely loved this. I thought it was a super fun ride. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked Alyssa as a protagonist. I wasn't sure what to think at first about the Godstone thing. When we first were being introduced to the religion and how it's kind of Roman Catholic, originally I was like, and got a little put off by it because I myself am not a very religious person, and sometimes when you have too overbearing of a religion in a book, it can be very off-putting, but I thought this was handled really well. I liked how she just really was kind of naive at the beginning and didn't know a ton, and so we didn't know a ton as readers. I really enjoyed when she first arrived with Alejandro and all of the court drama. I really just enjoy like the court dynamics in kingdoms and stuff, so I really enjoy that element. But I also liked that it didn't last too long because I think that would have gotten stale really quickly, and I liked when she kind of got kidnapped, which I was not expecting whatsoever, and takes off and is on basically a desert road trip for the rest of the series. I will say that I pretty much shipped her and Hector from the beginning. As soon as we met him and he was like kind of the sulking guard, I was hooked because that sounds like so many of my favorite characters, and I just knew I was gonna love him. And then when she went away from him, I was like, he's back there and you're there and what? But I did enjoy that we had a storyline where a character falls in love and loses that love and then falls in love again. There was definitely potential for like love triangle-ness in here, and I did not have any sense of that at all. I guess you could argue kind of that there was a love triangle in the very beginning, but not really, I don't think. I just really liked how this series kind of expressed different kinds of love, and that she had a first love, and that she didn't need to be with her first love like forever, and kind of addressing like losing your first love and moving on from that as far as her and multiple other characters. So I really enjoyed that element, and it just made the later relationship with her and Hector that much stronger. I did like Umberto, but I kind of knew that he wasn't gonna make it. I wasn't spoiled or anything, but I just kind of had a feeling that he wasn't gonna make it, and I wasn't gonna get attached to him because I already shipped her and Hector, and why would you plant that seed in my head if that wasn't gonna happen? So I was very sad for her, but at the same time I think it did make her a stronger person, and I liked that element of exploring different kinds of love in someone's life. I also really liked her progression from being a bigger girl into kind of being comfortable with her body. She was a person who was so kind of insecure with her body and had a lot of bodily issues, and I liked how as the series went on, but especially even the first book, when she kind of loses a little bit of weight, but doesn't lose a ton of weight, doesn't lose all the weight, but becomes a little more comfortable with her body, feels like she's stronger, and just kind of comes into her own. I really appreciated seeing that in here. I really enjoyed that when she finally did come back and was backed by like Alejandro and stuff, that she had come into her own a little bit, and that she was a little more confident, and that she ultimately did use her abilities in an amazing way to kind of destroy all of those animaguses. And I kind of enjoyed that at the end of this, we really still didn't know a ton about what was going on. We didn't know a ton about Godstones, we didn't know a ton about the other people, we didn't know a lot about the religion or any of these kinds of things, or the prophecy. We were kind of left as like, what's gonna happen from here? And I like that there were a lot of gaps still to fill in, and that the rest of the series really fulfilled all of that. The Crown of Embers kind of took me by surprise in that I felt like the kind of road trip again to a kind of promised land area felt more like a third book to me, so it really kind of took me off guard, but I really appreciate that because a lot of times I feel like second books in a series can lag a little bit, and with this I didn't get that impression at all. Again, hit the ground running and just did not let go the entire time. I really enjoyed Alyssa's relationship with basically everybody, but especially Rosario. I thought that was a very cute kind of like stepmotherly relationship, and that she really stepped up very well in a realistic way. It didn't feel fake at all, or that she was kind of like forced into this. She very much stepped up in a realistic way, and I really appreciate that, and I thought it was very cute. So many great characters in this book. I'm so glad that we got to get Hector back. I just love him as a character. We got to see so much more of him. Can we talk about how Zemina, however you pronounce her name, was being so cruel to my ship during this entire book? Oh my goodness. But I just really appreciate that like slow burn romance that we got with them. Like they're both kind of fighting it and didn't think the other one was interested at all. And it was just made for a lot of like angsty, cute moments and everything. Also, the introduction of probably one of my favorite characters in the entire series, in that Storm made an appearance. Storm is such a cranky little man, and I just really enjoyed him. At first I was like, not sure how I feel about him, but I really liked that he was just kind of rude and that they had very different cultures and stuff, and all of that kind of backstory that we got with his people and their kind of religion and their mythologies and how they kind of clash with her mythologies and everything else. I thought that was really cool, and I just liked how the magic and stuff was working and how she was really starting to discover things about her godstone and about godstones in general and about how their kind of magic and their sorcery works. I thought that was really cool. I just really enjoyed him as a character overall. I thought he was excellent. I really liked how their friendship kind of developed throughout the whole series, but especially in this book because you go from being enemies to kind of unlikely allies to being kind of cemented as friends, and I really liked that whole kind of arc. I really liked, as far as her magic, how it worked better on people that she had a really close connection with. I think that made a lot of sense, and that it really revealed a lot of things about characters and stuff and how she felt about different people and how other people felt about different people as far as other people that had magic, so I just really appreciated that. And as I said, it just made for really wonderful, like, couple moments, and I just really appreciated this one and how it just did not let up. And she, again, progressed so much and became such a strong character that by the end, you're just like, I have all of my faith in you, girl. Lastly, as I said in my review, I thought The Bitter Kingdom was a very satisfying conclusion to the trilogy. I really enjoyed it. I really like the element of her and Hector being separated for only a short period, obviously, in this book, and that we got to actually be in his head a little bit and got to kind of see what he was thinking. I really enjoyed that element. And just seeing more of, like, Storm's people. I really like that we just got to see more of the Inverness people and everything about them and just how kind of creepy and weird they are. And I just really liked that the villains in this entire trilogy were white, kind of wasp type people, blonde, blue-eyed, really pale. You just never get to see that, and I really enjoyed that element of it and how different their different societies were and how interesting that was. And like I said, again, more Storm. I just really enjoy him as a character. He's so sassy and just like kind of mean and crabby, and I just really appreciated him. I also really love Mara as a character. I like all the bonding that we get between Mara and Alyssa, and the references to birth control and stuff like that, and just sexuality in general. Awesome that a series really talks about that. I know a lot of times we'll have fantasy series that kind of mention it a little bit, you know, someone will go take a tonic or take a tea or something, but it's really discussed in here, and her choices about taking birth control, her discussing her taking birth control with Hector, and that she's taking it even when he's not, just like all these things about birth control that are brought up multiple times in the series, I was just really blown away by because it's just something we don't get to see very often. I love how a lot of the different holes were kind of filled in and we got a sense of all of the different religious aspects and how things kind of get twisted and different religions can kind of conflict and stuff like that. I just really enjoyed those elements. Two things I was a little bit sad about with this. One, I wish we got to see her be reunited with her horse. I know that that's like a really silly complaint, but I loved the relationship that she kind of formed with this horse who she was like scared of for so long, and I would have loved to see them be like reunited again because she still like thought about it after. And I'm just an animal person, so I'm like, oh, horse. And the other thing was that when she finally fulfilled her duty, kind of, as far as the Oasis, her losing her powers was kind of just like, it made me sad. Although I was sad about her losing her powers, ultimately, I'm okay with it. It still felt satisfying. It still felt like that was something that had to happen, and I love how she didn't need her powers to rule her people. She didn't need it to take back her kingdom. She didn't need it to prove that she was a worthy ruler. And I just really loved how she really came into her own. I love how her and Hector finally figured things out and he decided that it was worth being with her regardless of the whole like power thing, and they kind of figured all of that out. I really loved Mara and Belen's story. I was really scared for them because I thought one of them was going to die. But I really liked how they kind of figured that out and how, again, love can change over time, things can happen, relationships change and shift over time, and I just really enjoyed seeing those kinds of things explored in a YA fantasy like this. Also, the wonderful ending in that her wedding scene was some of the most feminist lines I've ever read, as far as her saying that, you know, she is going to look good for her and she feels that she's beautiful. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of her, and I just loved it. It's so beautiful. She had just a wonderful wrap up, a wonderful conclusion. I felt okay with letting these characters go because I was content in that they were okay, and I just really liked this as a wrap up. So obviously I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. So comment down below and let me know what you thought of this series, and if you have any recommendations for series that have the same kind of flavor to them, that take place in maybe a different kind of fantasy world. I just really enjoy that. I think that's kind of a theme with me. I really enjoyed this kind of Hispanic setting. I really enjoy In Shadow and Bone that's more of like a Russian setting. So if you guys have any recommendations for series that take place in kind of like an alternate fantasy world, definitely let me know. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all guys soon. Bye!